Welcome to Spinning Dreams. My name is Laura, and this is a space where I chat about all my knitting and crochet and sewing and any other creative thing that I'm up to lately. So welcome. It's January and it's very frosty. We woke up to frost this morning. Can see it on all the fence posts and the grass still where there's shade. So it's feeling quite cold outside, and when we've been out, it's been a struggle to keep warm, keep our fingers warm, especially when we're at the park and playing. But it's also a really great time for all the knitting, which I've been getting up to. So I'm very excited to share what I've been up to the last week. I've gotten quite a bit of stuff done, which makes me feel very happy because that means I get to cuddle up in my finished knits. So I meant to go through and look at what episode number I'm on because I believe I will start numbering these again as I'm doing so many more episodes now that I'm coming here weekly, or at least 3 weeks in a row I have, which is quite interesting that I'm managing this. So I want to number it because I think that's going to be better for keeping things chronological or keeping things in order. So I'll try and do that for you. I'm going to try and go through my previous episodes, and kind of retitle them to reflect the numbering. And at the beginning of my podcast, I started numbering them and then I stopped because it was less frequently showing up. And anyway, thank you for bearing with me. This is just evolving as my life unfolds and different seasons call for different things. So thanks for being patient and flexible. So let me get into my knitting. So I finished, I think I mentioned last week, I finished a cardigan. So I wanted to show you, I hadn't blocked it at that point. So I have blocked it, and it's the AO cardigan for my niece who is just turning 1. And so it's a little 18 month to 24 month cardigan. So it looks really good blocked out. There's no more curling anywhere. So I thought I would update you on that because I think that's kind of, if you're trying to decide whether to do this pattern and make this cardigan, rolling could be an issue and a deciding factor, but this is not rolling anymore, thankfully. And so it's just lovely. I love this Rauma Phenol. It feels very woolly, but also has some really good drape, and it's super lightweight. So I don't think it's going to be a heavy layer. It'll just be a nice layer to go under a coat. I cannot wait to gift this to my little niece when we travel to see them in England. So that's going to be very fun. So that's my AO cardigan finished. And I'll link to that pattern below, which I keep saying I'm going to link. But I do have my computer out right over there. So after I'm finished here, or maybe even this evening, I will get to typing all of the details in the description box. That is my aim. Let's see, what else? I have knitted my daughter some mittens, and I had finished them. It's the World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Mitts, and I've knit this pattern before and I love it. It's super simple. You just plug in the yarn that you want to use, the weight of the yarn and the size, and then you follow the instructions for that weight and size to get what you want. So I think it's a brilliant pattern. I love that it's all there for you. It's all in one, so I can keep coming back to it for all my needs, for all my mitten needs. So thank you to Tin Can Knits for that. It's been really good. So I think I showed you last time, or a couple times ago, that my daughter chose this very blue yarn by La Bien-Aimée, and it's very electric blue. Well, she calls it purple, so I guess the color is in the eye of the beholder. And so you decide, is it blue or purple? I don't know, but it's beautiful. And so she wanted flowers on it, so I went ahead and embroidered. Actually, it's more like an applique. I appliqued this wool felt. It's 100% wool felt that I had. I ordered some scraps of this. Can't remember when it was, but I have a bag of scraps of wool from kind of like remnants from somebody who works with wool regularly. And so I ordered her scraps, and I've been using it for all kinds of projects for a couple years, 3 years now maybe. Anyway, so this is just some of that scrappy stuff, and I cut these flowers and then I stitched them down very simply, only just with minimal stitching. I want to bring it close so that you can see, but I also want to tilt it toward the light. My lighting in here is still wrangling the lighting in here. So you can see I stitched here at the tips of the petals and also in between each petal, and then I did a French knot at the center. I did the same thing here, although this flower only has 4 petals, whereas this one has, 6? So the flowers look a bit different, and obviously different colors she chose. But yeah, they fit her nicely. They live in her jacket pockets, so that whenever she goes out, she has the option to wear them. And she doesn't wear them a whole lot, but I think she loves having her accessories available. She usually just gets caught up in the moment and her flow, her play flow, and forgets to get warm beforehand. And that's fine if she's fine. She's loving her playtime, and that's what matters, her playtime outside. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making these. Kind of like them like that. That's so cute. So cute. So yeah, so that's the World's Simplest Mittens. I highly recommend the pattern and the yarn, and just doing this kind of whimsical. I didn't follow a template or anything. I did mention a book that I have referenced, but only for the aesthetic and the idea, like the concept, rather than I didn't follow any of the instructions. I just did my own thing. So it's completely off. I've gone rogue. So I've gone on my own little tangent with these, and yeah, I didn't trace any template or anything. I just kind of drew it on a piece of paper. No, I drew it straight onto the wool felt and cut it out. So for better for worse, that's what came out. And it's a little bit wrinkled right there, but yeah, I don't think it matters. So yeah, I'm very happy with those, and so is my daughter. It makes us feel cozy. The idea of them anyway makes us feel cozy. And on the theme of mittens, I had mentioned that I got some yarn at a yarn shop that I visited in Oregon, and for myself, to knit myself some fingerless mitts. And I mentioned before that it's this Quaker Hill, Plymouth Yarn's Quaker Hill. It's like a 50-50 wool and alpaca. And it is so lovely. So I'm like trying to figure out which order to show you this. I don't know. It's like a thing for me right now. Okay, so I'll just show you the mittens without further ado. Here are the mittens. They are my own pattern. I just did my own thing. And I love this yarn. I love it. I love it. I want many cardigans out of this yarn. Many cardigans and pullovers and everything. Hat, maybe even. I think it's the wool content that gives it a structure, and yet it maintains the drape of the alpaca to a degree. So when I put these on, let me pop it on so you can see. They feel very warm and snug. And these are for me to be able to knit outside or in the cold with. So I wanted them to be very basic and functional, just practical mitts. And they are. They turned out just right for me, I think. But I also wanted them to have the whimsy that I like, so I added some flowers. And this is embroidery. This is just like a flower motif that I've done many times before on different things. And I used Jamieson's Spindrift. This is a pink and a little light green. I have them here. So this is the green. It is not showing up. It's much darker here. Yeah, maybe if I back it up. Yeah. Okay, so this is a little bit closer. I'll write the number below so that you can find the exact match. It's a gorgeous kind of seafoam green, a little bit heathered. And then this is my last little bit. I love this color. So I've used it for a lot of different projects. It's almost gone. And it's just a light, dusty pink, very heathered, with little specks of a darker pink in there. Beautiful. So, with some alpaca on it, or my hair maybe even. So yeah, this yarn, I can just tell that it's going to be a great sweater. And actually the sales lady or the yarn shop manager, she mentioned that this would be a great sweater, because I had mentioned that to her, that I was looking to make a sweater, but then I went on my mind went to Mittens, and I remember she said that, so I might do that in the future. So I just did a regular 1x1 rib. I did a normal kind of increase, like make one left, make one right, thumb gusset, held my stitches here, continued with the hand section, 1x1 rib up here. I'm trying to remember which size needles I used. I think I mentioned it in the previous episode. I can't remember right now, but I know I cast off with the largest size and I did my rib with the smaller size. And the cast off is pretty good. I didn't want it to flare at all, so I did a pretty snug cast off, and I can say that this one is a nicer stretch. This one's like, my finger gets caught. So I have tested these knitting. I went to the coffee shop with my husband on a date yesterday, and I was knitting while we were chatting. And what I ended up doing was just rolling this back to accommodate my fingers, especially my pinky, while I hold my yarn for tension. Because I wrap it around my pinky. I know everybody kind of does that a bit differently, but I need my yarn to flow here while I'm knitting. And so when this is down, it definitely pushes my yarn to a spot where I cannot maintain tension. So easy fix, I just rolled it back. Then when I'm done, I just pull it down and then I'm warmer. So yeah, I love these. They fit well in my pockets. They fit well under my jacket. There's no gap here, like I mentioned. I wanted this to be longer for no gap for cold air coming in. So yeah, I love them. They're so happy. And I think I'm gonna name them, and I think I'm gonna dub them a name after one of the books that the location names. So I'm reading this book. It's called The Bridge Kingdom, and by Danielle L. Jensen. And I've read her A Fate Inked in Blood, and I loved it. I'm like still in that world, even though it's been like maybe even a year since I read it. I don't even know. It's been a while. And I'm waiting for the second book of that series. So I thought for Christmas I requested this book because I just really loved her characters. And yeah, so I started this one. I'm not very far into it, but if you read it, I'm not going to give you any spoilers in case you want to read it, but if you read it, there is a point at which I feel that one of the characters needs mittens. And it is related to a place called Ithicana is the name. I think I'm saying that right. Always with fantasy, there's always like place names or character names that I'm absolutely unsure of how to say. But yeah, it's Ithicana. I can show you here. Yeah, Ithicana, I think. And I think that this character needs these mittens. So I am gifting them to her in spirit. She cannot have these ones, but she can have the spirit of my mittens. Yeah, so Ithicana Mitts, definitely working for me. So yeah, very happy with these. And I love that it's a memory now of both the book that I'm reading, like a little souvenir kind of, and also a souvenir from my time in Oregon with my family and with my sister-in-law and niece when we were looking at all the lovely wool in that wool shop. So yeah, that makes me happy. And I'm moving on now to my next work in progress, which is why I'm looking back here. I have all my stuff laid out here. I am knitting a vest, which I've never knit before. I've knit pullovers and cardigans, so I've knit that part of the garment before. Oh my goodness, I just realized I have not mentioned what I'm wearing. Shall I do that really quick? Okay, so I'm wearing, which I've worn before, I've shown you this before. I'm wearing the Leia pullover by Marlena. Oh, I'll have to put her name below. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna ruin it. So it's a beautiful lacy round neck cardigan or sweater pullover, and I always feel like I like it under my overalls or dungarees, and I don't know why, because it has this lovely lace and I kind of cover it up with my straps, but I just like the look of it. I don't know why. But anyway, it's knit up in Cascade Heritage maybe, and I did this a long time ago now, but I really want to make another one because it was so fast. It flew off my needles and it's so lovely. It's such a beautiful layering piece. I feel like right now it's so cold outside. I'm definitely gonna wear a coat when we go out later for our coffee. But this will keep me so warm. It's 3/4 length. I think next time I'll probably go all the way down to my wrist, and then I also will make it a bit longer next time. It's not cropped, but I just like it to go a little bit longer to cover my waistband a bit longer, a bit further, which you can't see because it's under my dungarees. But anyway, that's what I'm wearing. Okay, so got that out of the way. Sorry, I feel a bit scattered. The vest that I'm knitting, yeah, I have knit this portion of a garment before, but I've never knit it for the sake of a vest. Just stopping there. So I'm knitting the vest number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. That's what it is, My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I've been kind of stalking this designer for a while. I'm thinking maybe my sister-in-law might have knit something from My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I've definitely eyed a couple of the patterns in thoughts of maybe doing a cardigan or one of the pullovers, but okay. Anyway, long story short, I have this beautiful yarn that I wanted to get when we were living in Wales. It's called Garthenor Organic Preseli, or Preseli. I'm not sure how to say that. But it's organic Polworth, Romney, and Hebridean wool. Hebridean. Yeah, it's grown in the Falkland Islands, South Wales, the Scottish Highlands, and southwest England, scoured and spun in Yorkshire, and hand finished in West Wales. So I wanted to get this when we were living in Wales, or in England for that matter, but I'd never got round to it. And then I noticed that my local yarn shop, La Mercerie, carries it. And so I got 4 skeins. Well, I got more than that. I have more up there, but I got 4 in one colorway and then 2 in another colorway. But I got 4 of this. And I thought this would be the perfect time to knit something to bring with us when we go to Wales, is what my magical idea. Now, we don't have a lot of time before we go to Wales. in England and France. So, in fact, I think it's like we're on the countdown now, like not even a couple of weeks maybe. So I have a lot to do before we leave. So I've gotten this far, I've cast on, and this is the back. So this is the neckline at the back. This is the decrease for the increase into the armhole here. This is the armhole beginning, I believe, right under here. And now I'm going down into the back body. And then I will pause, do some armhole shaping, I believe, and then continue on in the back body. And then I need to do the fronts. So then I'll need to do one front and then the other, and then, yeah, and then I have a long band. So I want to show you the pattern without giving away the pattern. So let me see if I can show you a photo, because this is definitely a paid pattern. So you can see here, there's this lovely button band, and it goes all the way around like this. So I'm going to need to do that. I'm going to need to do this too. And I have been looking at all of the project notes from other knitters on this pattern, and they were just kind of, a lot of them were discussing how this felt like it took a really long time. So I'm just bearing that in mind. So I'm trying to work quite quickly on the rest of it, which is actually going really nicely. I love cables. I was so bummed when I just had kind of like mom brain for a while there, and I felt like I couldn't wrap my head around, or I could wrap my head around the cables, but I felt like, I don't know, like I would explode. Not really. But that my brain just couldn't hold that kind of information and track with it, and then I would have to tear out and just be frustrated, and that's not what we're going for with knitting, for me anyway. Knitting is my happy place. It's a place where I get to rest and be refreshed, not a place where I feel really angry or frustrated. So anything that brings me frustration, I just set aside. So I have set aside cables for a while. So I was so happy to bring this onto my needles, and it actually is going very easily. I've gone into kind of like autopilot, just mindful knitting, and I think that's because it's a simple pattern, simple cable repeat, and I just love it. I was telling my husband Mark that it reminds me of like cinnamon rolls or cinnamon twists, or like, I don't know, braided bread or candy, like soft, squishy candy. So I'm obviously in a pastry mood, but it makes me feel really squishy and happy. So it's a very simple repeat, but it's a very happy one, and that means that it can be mindful, and it's so soft. Highly recommend the yarn. Very beautiful, super luxurious, and so special that it was finished in Wales, and that all of the wool is coming from the British region, Britain. So I'm pretty excited. I hope I can finish it and wear it on our trip. That's my goal. And it's supposed to be a bit oversized, but I am knitting with one strand of fingering instead of a fingering and a lace. And I have sized down my needles as per my usual, because I am a relaxed knitter and my gauge is always looser and more open than I'm always having to size down. So I'm hoping that it will work out when I stretch it out. I haven't blocked yet, but when I do stretch it out, you can see that it's definitely going to accommodate my width. So hopefully I'm on the right track here. But that's my beautiful vest number 8 coming along, and so I'll be working on that probably monogamously until we leave. So yeah, I think it will work. I have hope. So that's what I've been working on. I think that's me this week. I don't have anything else on my mind to share this week, I think. But I think I am ready to go get a coffee. We're going to go out to our favorite coffee shop in town, and I'll probably bring my vest number 8 with me and work on it there. Have a little cookie and have our family date. We do this every weekend. We try and have a family date at our favorite coffee shop and gaze out at the water below the coffee shop. And yeah, it's such a nice, it feels like a reset every weekend to do that together as a family, to go and have our moment, even if it's only like a 20-minute moment. We do it every week as if we can, and then we feel ready for the next week. So we'll go have our little coffee date, family coffee date, and yeah, I will get to knitting. So I hope that you have some lovely works in progress on your needles or whatever you're making, if you're spinning or sewing, and feel free to reach out to me below if you have anything you want to share. I love connecting, so please feel free. And thank you for watching. I will see you hopefully next week. All right, bye.